Team Sundays, where we explore pressing issues and current news in the engineering community. Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic, engineering reality.
Think about it. Every bridge you cross, every app you use, every consider you take, and even the electricity powering this video started with someone asking, what if? Engineers don't just dream. They design, build, and innovate to turn ideas into solutions to define our everyday lives.
Isn't it wild to think that humans have been around tens of thousands of years, but in just the last 100, we've gone from horses and handwritten letters to self-driving cars and reusable rockets? Development is at an all-time high. And now more than ever, engineering is becoming a necessity, not just a novelty.
Now, it's time to introduce our incredible guest, Richard Humann, a professional engineer, CEO, and president of H2M Architects and Engineers. He is a leader at the forefront of engineering innovation, leading a multi-million-dollar company that was named New York's 2024 Design Firm of the Year. All right. Thank you, Mr. Humann. I really appreciate you coming on the show. This is our 5th episode of STEAM Sundays, so I'm going to start our first question, or not even a question. Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
I'm the CEO of H2M, Architects and Engineers. By schooling, I am a mechanical engineer. My career for about 25 years was as an engineer designing treatment systems for drinking water. So I really cut my teeth and had my entire technical career in water resource engineering. I became the CEO of H2M when I was 45, and I've been the CEO since 2013. Been with this company my whole career. I'm here 36 years. I actually started working here when I was interning, going to college. I went to New York Institute of Technology, is where I graduated from.
Okay, nice. That's really cool. I know most of our team, like almost 90% of our team goes into engineering, mechanical engineering, fields like that. So I'm going to start us off with the first official question. So H2M operates at the intersection of architecture, engineering, and environmental science. How do you balance these disciplines when you try to deliver innovative solutions?
Diversity is great, I think, in terms of the disciplines and the services that we offer, and it's one of the reasons why I think we're a really successful multi-service design firm. But there are challenges, like the mental strategy of the engineer. Engineers, very analytical, very result-oriented. I'll do the analysis because I want the answer. Architects are a lot more creative. Architects are okay doing things 3, 4, 5 times if after the 5th time it's going to look and feel the way they want it to feel. So there's an efficiency in the engineer mind that I just don't think is shared in the architect mind, yet they have to work together collaboratively in order to reach a common result. So we've laid out a culture here where it's about the project first, not about the individual who is providing either architecture or engineering or environmental science. It's about project goals. So people are expected to alter their behavior and alter their approach to the project in order to make sure that project success comes before individual success. We have an internal set of core values. So every employee that works here, we have 570 people that work at H2M. Everybody knows how they're supposed to behave on projects. Everybody knows what's expected of them. And I think when you set the culture properly, that's the best opportunity to bring together the diversity in the different services that we offer.
Yeah, I feel like culture is a very big part of all different types of corporations. Even on our team in high school, we try to, bring culture, bring diversity, include everybody available, So I think it's really important that for companies, even as large as yours, to teams as like ours, we need to have a good, diverse perspectives and interdisciplinary, people.
And I think as part of that, for us, culture can never be top down. Culture's got to be a lived experience by everybody that is part of your organization. So making sure that you select the right people, making sure you walk the walk. So if you're the leaders of your program, you've got to live your culture. And when you do, everybody sees it. So they know what's expected of them just by watching leaders in their groups. So I give you credit if you developed a nice culture in your program. It's often championed at the top, but it's got to be an organic, developed culture.
Yes. Actually, at the POBots, we really believe in, instead of building like a one-time winning team, we believe in building like a strong culture that can consistently facilitate winning. And I'll segue into our next question with that. What place do you think traditional engineering will have with the advent of the AI revolution? And have you seen any meaningful like changes in H2M because of this?
It's interesting. So engineering, falls into many different industries and many different fields. The type of engineering that we do, so I'm a licensed professional engineer in New York State. And what that means is that any design that I do that's for the public benefit, to make sure that I'm protective of public health and public safety. Regardless of the value of AI in terms of efficiency or being able to gather all the information I might need to solve problems, in the end, I've got to be responsible for my design. I think there are other engineering fields where you can lean much more heavily into AI and the support of AI because they'll perform a lot of the calculations, they'll do analyses, they'll give you results, and I don't think any engineer should get complacent in terms of just accepting, what AI development provides to them in terms of being able to achieve whatever their goals are. I know at H2M, we have a policy here where you can leverage AI like you would any other design tool because we have lots of different types of design tools. But you've got to be responsible for the product. So whatever the product is that we're delivering to our customers, the engineers, the architects, the scientists, they need to make sure that they review, they vet, they validate, they confirm. Areas where they're, a high degree of calculation, high degree of computation, those are areas where, the engineering is going to get so much more streamlined and so much more effective. For most people, there's going to be the need to make sure you find the right confidence level in AI today. I think the way that people utilize it in general, AI will be developed in a way that it's more honed in over time to what we do. So right now, I wouldn't consider AI overly focused in the services that we provide at H2M. Because there's not the same kind of mass opportunity with utilization where, society is utilizing ChatGPT and things like that are much more popular and at least early on, much more utilized. But it's definitely something that we are aware of. We continue to monitor. We've got internal expertise. Our information technology group is heavily involved in kind of vetting, various AI platforms that they think are opportunities for us to utilize here at H2M, really just to do our work more effectively, more efficiently.
Nice. I appreciate your perspective on that. I know for many companies, for many people, they're thinking AI is going to revolutionize and take over their jobs with all these different things, but I appreciate your perspective on the matter. So, on the third question that we have, H2M's projects often impact local communities. Can you share a project you're particularly proud of and how it made a difference?
As I'd said in the beginning, my career here is in designing treatment plants for drinking water. And it's really rewarding to me over the years as I've gone through my career, always rewarding. I would often go to public meetings and talk about the projects that we designed. So I have designed multiple firsts. When the federal government regulates drinking water, and the federal government establishes allowable concentrations of certain compounds in drinking water, and some of them are naturally occurring, some of them are synthetic, and they go through various health evaluations to determine what's the safe concentration to consume something. So there was a project that I had worked on where the federal government had identified this compound called perchlorate. Perchlorate is an accelerant. It is found in fireworks. It's found in rocket fuel. And there was a plume of perchlorate in the groundwater because there was a local fire department was utilizing a pit. When they confiscated fireworks, they would light them off and they would wash them down in this pit. So you had this plume of perchlorate coming out. So I had designed the first ever perchlorate treatment system in New York State, and that set the standard for how New York State then required communities to design if they were going to be removing perchlorate from their drinking water. That was probably 2002. I won't even ask who was born in 2002 because the answer might be none of us, except for me. Maybe Matt, I don't know. Yeah, over the course of my career, I've had a number of first technologies in drinking water design, so I'm really proud of that.
Wow, that's like really, really important. Everybody drinks water, right? So, and I remember learning about perchlorates and all of those pollutants that enter the groundwater. I know I've done research into that, and I think it's a really, impactful system that you developed. You're designing these treatment facilities. That's like what the cornerstone of America really is. It's the cornerstone of, New York. Everything that what you're doing, you're helping society, flourish.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I'm gonna let Paco take the next one.
Yeah. But before, I'd just like to say that was really inspiring, because that really shows that even if it's like a set precedent now, it has to come somewhere. And this next question is personal to me because I also want to go into engineering, and it's, what advice would you give students or young professionals that aspire to be maybe an engineer or an environmental worker? Like, what advice would you give them?
Things like this. I think gaining experience and gaining perspective about engineering. Engineering is, it's very broad. You can do lots of different things with engineering. I can remember, so I came out of school in 1991. At the time, the finance industry was not, aggressively recruiting engineers, but over time, because of the analytical thinking that typically goes into engineers, finance loves engineers, healthcare loves engineers, clearly computer science loves engineers. So I've always felt as though if you go through an engineering curriculum, it's probably you come out of school really well prepared to be a problem solver, and then you get to apply that to whatever industry you're going to make your career. So the more exposed you can get to the various aspects of engineering, I think is really helpful for people. Here we encourage, we have a internship program. We probably hire, 60 interns in summers, and some engineers think going into our type of business would be great for them. Others say, no way, I don't want to do this at all. But it's still a good experience because, when you're trying to find your path, the more things you're experienced in, it puts you in a stronger decision-making position when you decide what type of engineering do I want to go to. But really, in the end, I feel as though engineers are the premier problem solvers. And, we figure out how to take things that are theoretical and apply them practically. And the science is the science, and we need to really understand the science, but our job is to transition the science to practical application.
That's amazing. I'm sure a lot of viewers, and me especially, is going to take a lot of inspiration from that. And I'll let my partner have the next question.
Sure.
Okay, so question 5, specifically geared towards you. Okay, so being a CEO, what do you think are the most important traits in being a leader?
Be willing to listen, really, really listen. Be confident in the fact that you're going to make bad decisions, but don't let the bad decisions prevent you from making future decisions. That's my job. My job is to understand as best I can the information available to me and then make decisions. Some of the decisions are pretty obvious, some are not, some are hard. I often have to make decisions that I know are going to make certain people here unhappy. I'm always crystal clear in my messaging, and the decisions I make are always in the best interest of the company and the people that work here. So you might disagree with me, and that's fine, but that doesn't mean I'm going to change my decision. If I make a decision and somebody comes to me and shows me a better way, I'm the first person to say, I'm going to rescind my decision and I'm going to change it. Often leaders equate, that kind of a philosophy with kind of weakness in leadership. To me, it's the opposite. Being willing to, own your bad decisions and understand when you make mistakes is a critical part of being an effective leader. The people that you lead know that you're fallible, and they know that nobody's perfect, and they want to see you make mistakes, and they want to see how you react to making your mistakes. Being really transparent and honest and open, I think, is another fantastic trait of a leader. being somebody who is willing to do whatever you're asking somebody else to do is a great trait of being a leader. People want to know that you're just as willing to roll your sleeves up and do the things you're asking your people to do. Being selfless and willing to sacrifice things that are in your own interest for the interest of your group or your team or your company has to happen. You're not going to be a sustained leader if you are self-interested. I think as a leader here at H2M resonates with the people that work here, and they see me for exactly who I am. There's no agenda. There's no, I say one thing to the staff and I say something else to my executive team. I say the same things, and nothing changes.
Yeah.
And quick follow-up question. Would you say that making mistakes is a significant part of this process too?
100%. 100%. So we've been growing pretty well, and every quarter I have a lunch with all the new employees that I hired in that quarter. So, from the beginning of January to the end of March, I'll have a lunch with them in April. And I'll ask them to raise their hand if they have never made a mistake, and nobody raises their hand. And that's an important reality, is that we all make mistakes. And it's never about the mistakes you make. It's about how you respond to the mistakes that you make. In my opinion, that's what defines character of people. If you don't own your mistake, or you're looking to deflect and push blame and push responsibility to other people when you should own it, that comes through quick, and people see that. They don't want to work with those kind of people. They want to work with people who can admit when they make mistakes, and then they react in a way that you have confidence in the fact that they're going to make right whatever result the mistake caused.
Yeah, nice. So, our final question for today is, if you could solve one global problem through H2M's work, what would it be and why?
A global problem through H2M's work. Okay, so I'm going to theorize a bit. So even though I'm a drinking water person, I would love to have a global energy balance. There's never just two sides to the coin, and I think that energy has become a two-sided conversation where you're either on the fossil fuel side or you're against it. Even here in New York, so we have probably the most aggressive renewable energy goals of anywhere in the country, potentially anywhere in the world. We haven't yet prepared the strategy to transition in energy. In my mind, we should be embracing, diverse energy sources. We designed a nuclear power facility here on Long Island, out in Shoreham. Are you guys aware of that? In the 1970s and early 1980s, and the people that lived out there, it's built, it's done, it's mothballed. I'm going to say it's like a $2 billion investment, and that was 40 some odd years ago. And the people were afraid. They were 3 Mile Island. There were places where you had nuclear power plant failures, so it got killed. An investment that, today it's probably a $15 to $20 billion investment that never turned on. But I think we need to embrace nuclear just as we're trying to embrace wind, and we're trying to embrace, fuel cells and battery storage and solar, and fossil fuels have a place in that. Natural gas has a place in that. You can't swing the pendulum so far where you just absolve yourself from these other potential energy sources. So if I could solve a global problem, it would get people to understand that the best strategy to energy is balance, because I think that's achievable. We talked about, in society, in my opinion, water, energy. Without water and energy, I don't think society exists. So I'd be on the energy balance side.
Yeah. I agree with you. Water is the basis of life, right? That's why we're here on this earth. And energy, this modern day, it got to come from somewhere. And I like your perspective about having a balance, not going too far on either side, because ultimately, in the end, if you're gonna try to change everything in just a day, you're not gonna get anything right. You have to go incrementally.
Absolutely.
And I think you've conveyed like really good perspectives throughout this whole entire interview. And before we end, I think all of us want to say a big thank you to you for coming on to this interview and spending time with us on Steam Sundays episode 5.
My pleasure, gentlemen. And like I said, you have awesome t-shirts. I'm looking forward to getting my t-shirt. Congratulations. It sounds like you guys are on a great pathway. The two of you, as well as all of the folks that are in your program.
Engineering and innovation are becoming increasingly important in the contemporary world, and students are at the forefront of a new AI revolution. It's time to engineer our own reality and make the world a better place.
If you guys have made it this far, keep exploring, keep learning, and stay tuned for our next episode.